The sky tells me that these clouds are bright.
Hi everyone, I'm Mr. Puckett. Thank you so much for checking out what's only my 13th YouTube video of all time, and I am really excited for this one. Let's take a look at what I did to prep for this week's video.
I sent messages out to 5 specific people asking if they'd like to be involved in this video. 5 people that I all knew from my past as incredibly positive people, and I wanted to see how they deal with positivity on a daily basis. So I asked them all the same set of questions. I had done something somewhat similar to that in the past in a video about happiness, where I interviewed strangers in Nashville. The difference today is not only the set of questions, but that our participants had adequate time to actually ponder over the answers before getting the videos back to me. Let's meet everyone in the video. I'd like to introduce you to Tony. Tony put me up for a while when I was homeless and also took care of Mr. Puckett the dog when I was in a psych ward. He's responsible for the music in this video. He's an amazing person up in Michigan, and I can't wait for you to hear what he has to say. Next, we have Lauren. I know Lauren through the Free Pizza Dude project, and she's always been an encouraging force with that group. Lauren is in California with her beautiful dog. Next up, we have Aaron. I met Aaron in a small town artist collective in the middle of Tennessee, and he encouraged every single thing I did. Next up is Valerie. Valerie went through one of the most amazing physical transformations I've ever seen in my life. She now lives in Las Vegas and has a very different mindset than everyone else in this video. Last, but certainly not least, meet Olivia. I've actually never met Olivia. She's our wild card today. She came recommended from somebody that I asked to be in this video who said she would be a better participant. She's half the age of some of our other guests today, and I was a little worried about that until I got her video. I can't wait for you to hear what she has to say. Now that we've met everyone, let's take a look at their answers and how they can benefit us moving forward. Let's take a look at what really matters.
And I love this question, though. What's the difference between living and existing?
What mattered most to you 10 years ago? What matters most to you now?
If I could say one thing to all the people struggling with depression or simply unhappiness, what would it be? I would say,
what's the most important thing you've done or continue to do for your own happiness?
I love these questions. These questions have made me a better person. I am more self-aware after reading these questions. So here goes. What is the most important thing I've done or continue to do for my own happiness? Exercise and music, hands down. Starting my day with exercise allows me to tap into my self-confidence, allows me to boost my system with energy, and it allows me to become more self-aware. And then as far as music, I just completed a record that's taken me 16 years of life experiences, developing my courage, my confidence, my skill set. And if I do those two things, happiness is absolutely attainable every day, because it's the pursuit of those things that results in my happiness, right?
3 years ago, I was depressed. I was in the darkest place I've ever been in my whole entire life. And at that point, I thought, I have to change my life. So I quit drinking. I quit putting excess medications into my body. I mean, I don't take anything now, even like cold medicine. I'm super careful with it. Be careful what you put in your body. You might have a ton of side effects from different medications that you don't know, or that's compounding your addiction or compounding your depression, compounding you feeling tired. So I really pay attention to what I put into my body. And then I also pay attention to what my body is telling me. If I start to feel depressed or I start to feel overwhelmed, I check into that right away. Okay, there's something going on here. I'm starting to feel sad. I gotta break this up. I gotta do something different. I gotta get moving and get busy to keep my brain and all my thoughts moving forward, so I'm not looking behind me or at anything sad. So be careful what you put into your body, and listen to your body, the way that it reacts and the way that it responds, the way your mental responds to things or people. You know, pay attention to what you let into your circle.
And I would say trusting the process. For me, I've learned over the years that trusting the process is very important in overcoming some of the fear that I have experienced in becoming more of who I am every day. And so at times it can be overwhelming, the process, but just breathing through things and not getting in the way, and just allowing things to be as they are and accepting the things as they are is a lot easier than being afraid of ultimately what they're not, being afraid of success, instead of just allowing success to be.
The most important thing I've done for my own happiness is finding things that bring me joy and doing them consistently. Whether that be an exercise routine or walking the dog or sewing a quilt, doing a puzzle, all of these things that have kept me sane during the pandemic and I also really enjoy doing.
Another thing that I continuously do kind of just towards my own happiness is holding gratitude. It's a huge aspect for me. I can't remember, it was some TED Talk I watched not too long ago, and it was this gentleman speaking about how every moment in time is a gift. So if you think about it, you wake up every day, you are given moments in time. You don't trade, work, earn, pay for, nothing along the lines of that. It is solely just given to you every single day. And when I got that mindset, I was like, what am I doing? I'm just disregarding these gifts that are given to me every day by complaining or being hard upon myself or isolating or doing these certain things. And so once I started looking through that lens, that changed everything for me. It got me excited. It made me hold gratitude for even the smallest things, like when the sun is shining and it hasn't in a while, or when I get somewhere perfectly on time. That's a gift that was given to me that day, to even just be there. And so that's something that is super helpful for me as well. And then also, I know people most of the time don't like hearing this, especially if you're depressed, but organized space and organized mind. I noticed that I fall back into ineffective tendencies a lot of the time when I'm messy or if I'm not taking care of things, because when you take care of things, believe it or not, it feels like a chore, but it's actually really good for you. It makes you feel better by the end of the day. So if you keep avoiding it, you're just gonna, it's a back burner thought that just builds and it doesn't feel good. So keeping things organized, writing things down so my brain stays organized. I mean, I have enough thoughts in this brain for 3 other people, so it's pretty nice to be able to kind of write stuff out and just kind of piece everything that's going on up here.
If I could say one thing to all the people struggling with depression or simply unhappiness, what would it be? I would say, let it go. You are strong. You do have courage. This strength and this courage that you don't give yourself enough credit for will allow you to let go of your pain and suffering. And understand this, that happiness is a pursuit. You have to pursue it. And even if you don't know what that it is, just move in a direction. Move in a good direction. Move in a positive direction. You know what that is. Everybody knows what a good and positive direction is. We just need the courage and strength to follow it. So that's what I'd say about that.
Think about it. If I'm not happy, what am I doing to be happy? Do you live a life by design or do you live a life by default? Do you get up every day and go to work and come home and complain about your job and complain about the weather and you pay your bills and you hate the Mondays and you work for the weekend? Or are you a person that gets up and runs your damn life because you're in charge of your life? Which one do you feel you are? There is no such thing as good luck and there is no such thing as bad luck. Bad luck is for people who say, oh, I have the worst luck. Man, this happened to me this year. This happened to me this year. Oh, that's the worst. What'd you do to make yourself a better person this year? Have you read a book? Have you tried to be better at the parts of yourself that you know are weak? Are you working towards anything? Because trust me, when you start working harder, you start doing things by the book, you're positive, you take care of yourself and you love yourself, all of a sudden, good luck comes plentiful. Trust me, you have to take control of your own life. Every decision you make every single day, from what you wear to what you eat to what you drink to what you do and who you talk to, is up to you. If you hate your job, get a new job. If you hate your life, move. If you don't like the people in your life, get new people in your life, okay? The world's a big place. Take control of your life. You are in charge of you, and that will help you get out of your funk. But I can say that if you're having a day where you're so depressed you can't get out of your bed, go for a walk, force yourself to get out of your house. Force yourself to move your body so that you can say, I'm stronger than this, even though you don't think you are. Push yourself. And when you start to make those little steps each day, you'll become more confident in yourself and helping, overcome those feelings of depression.
And very simply, go outside. A lot of times we find ourselves in the home because that's where, we go for our comfort, being sheltered and eating and all of those things that bring us comfort, watching TV. Go outside, get a sense of an expansive world, not just, the four walls of where you live and reside and connect and all of those things. Being outdoors, with the sun, with the stars, with the trees, all of those sorts of things bring about a more broad view of our existence, and fresh air and sunlight. Really, we're just plants. So we need the same resources that plants have. Light, water, food. So hopefully that answers that one.
If I could say one thing to people who struggle with depression or unhappiness, it would be that depression, anxiety, general unhappiness is not caused by one thing, but rather is made up of a lot of small stressors that if you can figure out how to manage them individually, it makes them more manageable.
And this one kind of stumped me for a little bit because there's so many things you can say. But one thing that I really, really found comfort in when I was feeling depressed was focusing on what I can control. Because when you're feeling depressed, small tasks feel like mountains. Everything is very overwhelming. You're kind of just floating through your days. Your brain's on overdrive. So you're feeling too much or not enough, or it's messy, super, super messy. And so the lack of control aspect is what causes a lot of anxiety for me too, layered on top of depression, which is just more negative emotion that I don't want to feel or stress that I want to deal with. That is just not what I want. But what I started noticing is that all I was doing whenever I was thinking about anything when I was struggling with depression was, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do this, or I was thinking like huge tasks that I could never do, and I just kept beating myself up like, you'll never be able to do that, you can't do this, and that I felt way out of control. And so what I started doing was looking at things that I can control. Like I can clean my room in the morning, or I can make my bed before I leave, and when I come home my bed's made and that makes me feel better. That's a small thing that I can control that makes me feel good. Depression makes you feel like you can't control any feeling, anything around you, any of your tasks or motivations. It feels like it's all been stripped away from you, when in reality, it's just emotion blocking you from being able to see that. And so it's smaller things, because you're still depressed, especially if you're going through this, that you're not going to be able to see that full picture. But when you are going through depression, little tiny things that you can control, like I can write my thoughts out and that makes me feel good, I'm gonna do that. Or like I said earlier, with making the bed, or taking a different drive home instead of what you normally do, to switch things out of your normal pace, like small little things. And then after doing that small change of that small little thing you can control, to then reward yourself after for doing so, kind of gives your brain some positive feedback, like, oh, maybe I should do this again. And then you're proud of yourself too, which is something that, oh my gosh, when I was struggling with depression, it was really difficult for me to feel pride. I did not like myself. I didn't enjoy who I was. And so when I finally was like, whoa, she's kind of cool. She made her bed today, or she brushed her hair, or she went and made somebody smile, or she did something that she told herself a million times that she couldn't do. She did that. And it just kind of gets you on this good track, which is super awesome. And then, finding pride, man, that stuff feels so good.
What can I do today that will help my own future? Well, we already mentioned I can exercise, right? That's gonna keep me strong. That's gonna keep me energetic and confident and self-aware. But most importantly, today I can work on my craft. So for example, after this video, I'm gonna do a live showing of a couple songs, because we've released 2 songs within the first month of releasing material, and I'm gonna play those songs and talk a little bit. So I'm gonna continue to practice my craft, and that drastically impacts my future.
So I do this every day. I suggest you do this. It's a part of me taking control and responsibility for my life. So every night I self-assess. I'm really hard on myself. I hate it when I don't do things perfect. I hate it when somebody doesn't like me. It used to crush me. But now I come home at night and when I lay down, I say, did I do my best today to be the best general manager I could be, to be the best sister I could be, to be the best daughter I could be, to be the best girlfriend, best auntie? Did I do things by the book today? Did I push towards my goals and do everything that I could to achieve all that I could today? Was I my best person? Most of the time, no, especially because I'm hard on myself, right? I'm saying, ooh, no, I was kind of shitty here, and I was kind of lazy here and crap. Then you don't get down on yourself and beat yourself up over it, because that's going to get you nowhere but a bunch of wasted time stacked up. So you need to listen to yourself and say, what can I do better tomorrow? I need to dial in on this tomorrow because I sucked at this today. And whether that's you're so depressed you can't go to your mailbox and you made some progress in that, or you're looking over to take over a $40 million real estate company like me. It's a ton of pressure no matter how big or small that event is in your life. Do not compare your events to other people's, because no one else's perspective is the same as yours. There could be 10 people standing on each side of me. Everybody has a different perspective. Don't worry about what people are saying about you. You do you. Take control of your life, and I promise it will get better.
One thing that I'm continuing to learn to be consistent in is to stay grateful. The fact that I'm even here, present with you now on this video, is amazing. To have a life, to be here now is an incredible opportunity for everyone to just sit and imagine how great of an opportunity that is to be present. I understand for some, in temporary times, it can be challenging. So I definitely do understand, to a degree, depression and unhappiness. But it's just for a moment. This too shall pass. And take a deeper breath and focus on that and realize that you are, and that it's going to be okay. So
I love this. I'm constantly looking towards the future and things that I can do, especially coming out of depression where I was stuck in the past or in the current consistently, which wasn't really getting me. I mean, it was needed for the time being, but it wasn't getting me anywhere beneficial because I started dwelling upon those things. And so the future is my favorite. But goals and rewards. I love setting goals, big or small. Like one time this week, I'm going to make somebody smile, or one time this week, I'm going to make sure that there are no dishes in the sink, or little things like that, to big ones where I'm planning a van journey right now, where I'm looking at some old kidnapper type Ford diesel vans, and I want to start making it into kind of a tiny home and just gonna go travel, potentially start a podcast as well. And so that's a huge goal that I'm working on right now, but it gets me so excited for every single day because I'm like, oh, I can start thinking of different things to do, or things to plan, or research, or different stuff like that. And it gives me like purpose, you know, for some people who struggle with depression, it feels like you just don't really matter. Make you matter, right? By setting these goals or plans without pressure, with acceptance. I think acceptance is a huge part of that too, because sometimes goals feel like you need to be the best, or you put too much pressure on what you should do for these goals, when in reality, just be your best self and do it in a way that feels comfortable for you. And goals will help your future. Holy cow. And then after goals too is rewards. And so I'm the queen of to-do lists. I absolutely love to-do lists. I do one every single day. And then I always put at the bottom of my to-do list like some reward for it. So like, go get your favorite candy from the gas station, or have some downtime tonight and watch your favorite show, or smaller things like that. Hang out with some friends, you know, after you get all these different things done. And it kind of just tricks your brain into a routine of like, okay, so after I do things I don't necessarily really want to do, like chores, homework, work, things like that, I get rewarded for doing so with this. So that's going to make me even more motivated to get all these things done, check all these boxes off and go through. And then, I wrote a quote down too, because I just jotted down some bullet points so I could remember everything. A quote that I can't remember exactly who it's from, but it's something I think every single day, and hopefully it could help someone too, is first step in doing anything is believing that you can. So choose to believe in yourself, right? and choose to believe in your ability. Those are things that help tremendously with me and myself and hopefully somebody else too. But oh my gosh, yeah, believing in yourself feels so, so good.
What is the difference between living and existing for me? This is a huge question. I really, really dig this one. And couldn't answer it at first, but now, easily, walking by faith and not by sight. That's the difference between living and existing. If I'm living, I'm walking by faith. I'm chasing the unseen. I'm believing in the unseen in my heart. I'm believing where I'm going and what I feel is right. And so I'm moving in that direction, even though I can't see it. And that's huge. That's how you create something. Otherwise, if I'm walking by sight, I'm just existing. That's it. Hey, Saya Jean. How are you, sweetie? And, well, this creature brings me a lot of happiness, too. But right now, Daddy's in the video, so we need to chill. I know. I'll come hang out with you in a bit. Just, shh, please. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Love you.
Live your life by design. I decided to sell everything I owned 3 years ago. I left every single thing I owned besides one suitcase and one box. I sold my vehicle, I got in an airplane, and I moved away. I had nothing, nothing, nothing. 2 years later, I still had nothing. Last year, I had nothing. I didn't know where to eat when the pandemic started. I would go to someone else's house to eat, and I was embarrassed and I was scared. But did I sit at home and say, God, I have such bad luck. 2020 has been so bad to me. I thought, shit, if 2020 is this hard, I better work like 5 times as hard to overcome this. And I did. And it finally started to come together. But you know why? Because I never quit. Because I know that my design for my life is plan A and there is no plan B. What do you want to do with yourself? What do you want to be? And then go do it. Just don't quit. Just keep going. I promise. The only people that don't get what they want are people who quit. And that's the truth. You either will or you won't, and that's on you. And it's either one day or day one, you decide. These are catchphrases for a reason. Take control of your life. You will feel happier.
Living for me is being brave, to follow your heart, even if it doesn't make sense to anyone else. This is something that I began to step out into 10 or 12 years ago, just to begin to find myself. And this kind of answers the next question: what mattered most to you 10 years ago? What matters most to you now? Just stepping out of just being and maybe taking some chances on some things that are in your heart. Like, what is calling you to be more than what you currently are? For me, I am, and this answers the next question, what makes me unique is I'm an encourager. I'm a people person. So in my own experience, I have encouraged myself and others to be more than what they are, and not just in words, but in deed, in action, to show up and to say, you know what, like, I have this thing burning in me. I have this idea, this thing, like we all have ideas and we talk about those things, but we don't necessarily act upon those things. And because acting upon those things, really, it's difficult to go beyond where you are and to trust yourself and to trust the process and to step outside of your comforts and to do more than to exist, but to become and to live and to excel and to be more, to be content, but yet not at the same time, not satisfied with where you are. And it takes time, it takes process, it takes trust to get to this place. And I'm still a work in process, just like everyone else is.
The difference for me between living and existing is existing satisfies needs. So a roof over your head, food on the table, and a paycheck. Whereas living is made up of moments and the emotions that you feel in those moments.
Okay, what's the difference between living and existing? I was stumped on this one for a little bit, but existing is basically living at the bare minimum. You're showing up when you have to, like you'll go to class, go to school, get your homework done, or go to work, pick up the kids, do whatever your life may be at the time. My world is a lot smaller than that, but existing, you're just doing the bare minimum and you're not living for yourself. So you are just showing up for your responsibilities. But when you start to choose what to do with your day, that is when you begin to live. And when you begin to get excited and make plans and find gratitude in even the hardest parts of your days, that is when you are living. You are choosing the mindset of, okay, well, I have to do these things like work and school and pick up the kids and do whatever it may be that my responsibilities are for the time being. But I can also go in like, man, I'm getting all this stuff done today. Or man, I feel accomplished because I went and did all of this. And you know what? To do that, I'm gonna listen to my favorite song in the car and I'm gonna skip around my apartment. I'm gonna let myself feel things. I feel like a lot of the time in this world, we don't allow ourselves to feel a lot, right? We feel a little bit, but to feel a lot, like feel gratitude or feel acceptance or feel happiness or sadness or whatever, or frustration, right? Feel it in your entire being and then act upon it, right? So when I'm feeling happy and I'm doing my own thing, I'm gonna paint. I love to paint. So I'm gonna paint, I'm gonna be in my own head, I'm gonna do that whole thing. But also when I'm extremely frustrated and feeling lost, I also paint. And so I'm living in this life where I'm choosing, no matter what happens in my day with my responsibilities or my emotions, I'm gonna do what I want regardless, right? It's like, okay, regardless of your responsibilities. It's also, I'm going to live as I want, including my responsibilities. I'm not going to exist solely for them. I'm going to exist solely for myself.
What mattered most to me 10 years ago, what matters most to me now? Well, 10 years ago, I was married and I was transitioning out of social work and psychology with the state of Minnesota into the health and fitness industry. And the answer came to me when I thought about like what I'm doing now. So I'm kind of doing something similar now, challenging myself in that I'm in truck driving school and I'm diving deeper into music. Truck driving school so I can have another tool in my toolbox to make money as an artist. But with that being said, what matters most to me now is that I'm challenging myself every day. It's crucial to challenge yourself every day because there's so much reward in it. Like Jim Valvano, the great Jimmy V, said it like this. He's like, a great day is when I have a good cry and a hard belly laugh. And I'm paraphrasing, but I try to go after life like that. So every day has that type of challenge and that type of reward.
Years ago, I was 26. I wanted to be a wife and I wanted to be a mom and I wanted to bake banana bread and hopefully stay at home. But if not, I was going to go to work and have a mediocre job. And if maybe someday I could drive a Tahoe, I would be like super fancy and feel great. And that's not what life gave me. I'm 36. I'm divorced. I have no children. So all those things that were important to me, instead of crying and telling myself I had bad luck, that I didn't have kids, that my first marriage did not work out, I could say, wow, life really handed it to me hard. Or I can say, what a treasure of an opportunity I had to be in my 30s with no children. How great is it that I can start to build an empire in my career for myself and the rest of my family because I don't have a husband and children. I can dedicate all this time. I can live in a high rise on the Las Vegas Strip if I want to, because you know what? I don't have kids. I don't have a husband. I can do whatever I want. It's incredible what just changing your mindset from negative to positive can do. Mindset is everything. When I first started this job, I finally got my dream job. Finally. And then I bitched and complained that my phone rang all the time. God, these agents have so many questions. God, I'm managing 15 agents. What, can't they do their job? No, because they're calling you because it's my job, right? It's my job. And I better be really happy every time the phone rings. You better love what you do or don't do it. So anything that was important to me 10 years ago is not important now. Now it's important for me to be independent, be financially comfortable, help other people, see other people smile. It's just like little stuff in a day. Take my dog for a walk. I don't need a penthouse suite. I need a place that's mine with my things that I come home to, and me and my team and my dog and my cat are there. Create something that's yours and you'll be proud of it. Trust me. Find what's really important in life.
What mattered most to me 10 years ago was really, how could I be my best? So career development and personal development. And now what matters most to me is, how can I use what I've made into a career to help others, and how can I support my loved ones?
And then when I was 17, my father passed away, and that changed everything for me. It opened my eyes to this world of how, first of all, how hard and painful it is. Oh my goodness, this world is relentless, but also how beautiful it is and how much greatness it can bring. And so now, where I'm at currently, in my 20-year-old self, sitting in my apartment with hair that my roommate cut really short yesterday because I like to act impulsively, everything that was and everything that continues to be is what matters most to me. So I take every little bit and piece of whatever good or bad hardships that has come with me in my past and my path behind me. I take it, I learn, I care, but I don't carry, right? So I care enough, but I don't carry it upon me. I take it with me, and then I use it as a stepping stone to move forward into my next path of whatever that may be. Because, you know, I'm young, my world's small, I don't know what the hell I'm doing most of the time, but I have an acceptance of knowing that all these different little things, they build and they matter if you give them the attention, right? And so sometimes we choose our attention on the wrong things, you know, and it gets us in pits, and sometimes we choose them on the best things and it takes us to our dream job, right? So it's these certain standpoints and choices that I've made in my mental ability and my perceptions upon this world that have really, really become most important to me. When before I just wasn't, I didn't really care. I was floating. Don't get me wrong, I'm 16 at the same time, so it's like I'm the oldest I've ever been right now. So 16 isn't that far away, and so but yeah, it's a huge shift that I can see in myself, and also in just like my personality, and then my outward personality to the world too. Like I've really found myself coming out of a lot of like the hardships of the last couple years of my life, and then also just I feel so much gratitude for my ability to see the world as beautiful as it is, instead of teaching myself to hate it, which I used to do a lot.
All right, what did we learn today? These 5 people all had such simple things to say. I think that's the most of what I took out of this video, is not one of them gave a single answer of something that we couldn't do tonight to progress our own future, to be just a little bit more positive and happy, and to help others around us. Most specifically, Aaron talked about accepting the things you cannot change. Staying grateful. He even said, this too shall pass. For anybody who's ever been to a 12-step group, he is going through the steps. Aaron is not in recovery, but he is talking the 12 steps. He's talking about accepting the things you cannot change, having the courage to change the things you can, and having the wisdom to know the difference. I absolutely loved it that he didn't even know that he was quoting 12 steps in that. It's amazing. Lauren was talking about doing the small things every single day that you enjoy. She talked about quilting and the things she loved to do, and to do them on a daily basis. Now, Tony talked about being inspired every day. He talked about chasing his dreams every day. Whereas personally, I think of chasing my dreams as something I do in the future. You know, where I'll set up something today and then I'll chase it in the future. But he's doing something for his dreams as an artist every single day. He also talked about having the courage to let go of your pain and suffering. Courage is a huge word, and to use it in that way really inspired me. The courage to let go of your pain and suffering, because sometimes it feels like it's such a part of us that we don't want to let it go. That was something I had a big problem with in recovery, again with the 12 steps, because we talked about letting go of our resentments in the 4th and 5th step. And that resentments were such a part of my life and made up who I was that I felt like if I let go of these resentments, or if I let go of my pain and suffering that he talked about, that I wouldn't know who I was anymore. I was afraid of a change, where he talked about it so matter-of-factly that to grow, you need exactly to do that, to let go of the negativity in your past. Now, Olivia talked about a lot, but something why I really wanted to touch on is she talked about productivity and rewards. Doing something that can progress your future and make you feel better, and then rewarding yourself for it, because it really made me realize that I'm only doing one of those things. I'm only doing the rewards. I am not a very productive person. I love making these videos, but if you could scan across my studio right now, you would see what a mess it is. And I put so many things on the back burner just so that I can do simple things every day that she talked about as rewards that I just spend my whole day doing. And by doing that, I'm really putting myself at a disadvantage for the future because I'm letting so many things slip by the wayside. Another thing that really struck me that she said was, choose to believe in yourself. Choose to believe in your own ability. Because if you don't believe in yourself, sometimes it feels like that's a part of us too. But we have to realize that it's a choice. It's a choice whether you believe in yourself or not. It's a choice whether you believe in your ability to do something. And that was huge for me. And Valerie, I love the way she spoke so matter-of-factly about taking control of your life and doing it right this second. She talked about not comparing your struggles to others, which is something we've mentioned on this channel many times, how we all go through different things, and especially when people only put their best lives out there on social media, we don't see their struggles. Not many people are out there making videos or making posts about what they're struggling with because we feel like that'll make us look weak. But we have to realize that everybody out there has struggles, and even though they may compare in some way, we can't compare our general overall struggle to anyone else because A, we don't know exactly what they're going through and how many variables there are, whether that's mental illness or environmental, but also B, it will get you nowhere to compare your struggles to somebody else or compare your successes. We need to be helping one another rather than saying, oh, that person has it worse than me, that makes me feel good, or that person has it better than me, that makes me feel bad. We are a community, not only on this channel, not only in the Mr. Puckett subreddit and all the things that we like to do online, but in not only our neighborhood, but as a world, we are all a community, and it's so easy to forget that because we get so worked up over our own disadvantages and think that we have it worse than somebody else or we have it better than somebody else, when we need to realize that we all get better together. And we all get worse together. So we need to move forward, not only just me, not only just you, but everybody in this video, everybody watching, everybody you see on a daily basis. We're always going to accomplish more together. So I can't thank these 5 people enough. I asked them to do this video because I was hoping that people watching would learn something. There wasn't a single time where I thought that I would learn something. I totally disregarded that until I started putting the video together and realized that all these people I felt like they were speaking to me. So I can't thank everyone enough for doing it. Aaron, Lauren, Tony, Olivia, and Valerie, they were all just so happy to do it, and they got it back to me right away, and you guys are amazing. And for everybody watching, thank you so much. This is my longest video so far, so if you're still watching, I love you so much. Thank you for doing so. We're gonna wrap it up here, and now this week, this coming Thursday, you'll see, instead of a video from me, I'm gonna go live right here on YouTube. So stop by Thursday night at 5 p.m. and hang out with the Puckets. We'll do all kinds of fun things that evening. And thank you again for watching the video. Check out the socials of everybody involved in this video below and go give them a follow or a like or send them a message and say thank you so much for being in this video. And I hope you took something out of it, or at least as much as I did out of this video. I had a ton of fun making it. So for the Puckets, for me, Abe, we're signing off today, and we'll see you next time on whatever big thing we decide to do next. Have a beautiful evening, everyone.